Howdy everybody, Steve here, KM9G. As of the time of recording this, we are deep into hunting season, and when you and your buddies are out hunting, it would be great if y'all could stay in constant contact with each other as you are doing your hunting thing, right? So what better way to do it than with some BFY radios, some bright yellow radios from Retevis. These are a couple of GMRS radios with NOAA weather alerts and IP67 waterproof, and they are also pretty good at being dropped and surviving. So let's get over to the bench, show you what comes in the box, go through some of the menus and some of the features, and do some field testing. Not just one radio, but two radios, because if you have a radio, you have to have somebody to talk to. So let's take a look at what is inside of here. This is the Retevis RB48Plus. And you can already see that yellow peeking out. It's looking pretty good. It's a big print owner's manual. I guess they think we're getting old. They'd be right. Not a whole lot of stuff in it, but this radio doesn't do a whole lot of stuff. Might be all you need. It does do CT, CSS, and DCS codes for privacy. The factory default programming, and I don't know why they do this, but these are out of the factory programmed with different frequencies, which is fine, but then they're also programmed with codes. And it would be great if, you know, like every radio from every manufacturer had all the same codes on all the same channels, but they don't. So you can see we've got 1 through 7 are your first few channels there. Those are GMRS, and then these here are set to half a watt, so these are probably going to be your FRS channels without looking them up. And then 5 watts again on the rest of the channels, and there are 30 from the factory. And then it has 11 NOAA channels in it. Yep, not a whole lot in there, but there doesn't need to be a whole lot. This is a pretty stout antenna. Wow, you could put a hurting on somebody with this thing. That is not your average GMRS radio antenna. It says UHF 400 to 480 megahertz, and for UHF antennas, they don't have to be that big, but they also don't have to be that stout, but that does give it some added strength. That's pretty good. We have the radio itself, and big old PTT button right in the center, and another one on the side. This one's actually easier to hit than that one is. We've got a USB-C port on the side, and this radio is waterproof, but I had to push that in pretty far. If you just kind of sit it there, it might not be so waterproof. You got to make sure the thing is all the way in if you're going to be doing waterproof stuff. IP67, up, down, PTT, call, menu, and scan. And then let's get the antenna on. We'll take it off later again because that's how we do. Screw on belt clip. Okay, you get a lanyard, spare cordage, emergency cordage if you need it. You have a USB charger, and this is 5 volts, 1 amp. So, whoa, that's open. Typical USB charger stuff. It comes with an A to C color with some nitro yellow green inside. I like it. And that means that they did it right. This is what I like. All right, so let's talk about this here for just a second. You can plug the radio in directly via USB-C, which is nice, or you can put the radio in the charging cradle, and then you can use that exact same cable and charger to charge the radio, or you can plug this into whatever USB port you have on whatever USB thing you have. So that makes this thing extremely versatile. I dig it. Usually what'll happen is these things here will have USB-C on the radio, or on the battery on the radio, not even on the radio itself like this one. And then this will be like an AC plug that is hardwired in and goes straight into the wall socket, or this will be a DC barrel jack. So then you have to get the USB charger, the USB cable, the cradle, and then the wall wart to go with it. And that's like, why are we doing all this extra wasteful stuff?
1.
All right, 1. So we'll test that call function out outside. If you long press the call button, you get NOAA weather. Long press the center button and you get lock. Long press it again to unlock. That's a very interesting way of doing menus. So in order to change channels on this radio, you have to do a couple of interesting things. From the front panel of the radio, you would think that in order to press channels, you would press one of these up or down arrows on the side, but they don't actually do anything. First you press menu, and then you press up.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
and it changes channels that way. And then it's got a different voice than the typical radio voice.
16, 17, 18.
Nice. And now we're on channel 18. And we push to talk to set it. It did not go into transmit mode when I did it, but it did change colors to indicate that it had been done. Or you can press menu once to change channel, and a second time to change subchannel, and then a third time it gets you actually into the menu itself. And let's take a look at what these menus are. All right, the manual is laid out very interesting on how the menus are laid out. It's a little confusing to understand at first. So call tone selection, or CA. In standby status, press the menu key 3 times. So that is menu once to select the channel, menu again to select the sub-channel, and then menu a third time to actually get into the menu. And I realize that we're working with very few buttons here, which has its advantages and disadvantages, and this is one of those disadvantages. So what we will wind up doing is pressing the menu key 3 times, and then it will show CA in the menu, and we can start working on it. To do a different menu setting, you press the menu key more times. So high-low power setting. In the standby status, press the menu key 5 times, the display shows power. In the standby status, press the menu key 6 times, the display shows SC, which is scan. Roger beep is 7 times, call vibration is 8 times, talk on off talk around is 9 times, etc., etc., etc. So that's, you're probably going to have to play with this a lot to get used to it, and then head out in the field and do your magic. But what I normally do with radios like this is work on them for their intended purposes, and that is leaving them all on the same channel. So that's why it's good to have 2 radios, one for you and one for a friend. And if you're going to be out working with a friend, it is best if you have 2 of the exact same kind of radios.
1.
So this starts up on channel 1, sub-channel 1.
18,
And 1820 is where I left this one, so let's get it back into the right channel.
7, 6, 4, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
1, 1. And then hit the PTT button to set it, which does not activate transmit mode until you're already in it. And then we can start talking back and forth. WRNY 996. So this sub-channel number here is actually the CTCSS code, or the DCS code. So if we look at this, we're on channel 1 with a code of 01. And if we look in our manual, code number 1 is 67 Hertz. And if we look at our factory frequency programming, channel 1 is 462, 5625 for receive, 462, 5625 for transmit, 5 watts worth of power, and CTCSS code 67. And then if we change channels, menu 1,
2.
we're on channel 2 with a code of 18. We look up 18 over here, and this goes left to right for some weird reason instead of up and down. 118.8. Channel 2, 118.8. So that's how that number works there. Very strange. But again, limited display, trying to make it big for you to read. I kind of get it. Let's do some power testing on this. When I do my power testing, I use my Shorecom SW102. All right, long press to get it to turn on. And up here in the corner, we're going to see watts, and down here we're going to see SWR on the antenna. So we're going to transmit. And we're reading 5.5 watts at 1.08 SWR. Nice. Now if we can go through this menu, CA, Vox, power is high power, low power, and I'm getting 0.36 watts at 1:1 SWR, 0.37 at the end there. So there's your power test and your SWR on your antenna. This radio has a couple of really cool features to it. First off, as you know, it is a GMRS radio. It's got 30 channels. It's only half a pound. The battery capacity is 2,000 milliamp hours. It has a 2.5 millimeter headphone jack on the top of the radio, and that is not a normal jack. Normally they're 3.5 millimeter, but y'all know that. And then one of the neat features is it has a NOAA weather alert. So if you are in Tornado Alley or someplace that has other fierce storms, you're not going to get caught unaware when you're out in the field and aren't really paying attention to the weather that's coming your way versus the weather that you're currently sitting in. This thing is IP67 waterproof to a 3 foot, almost 4 foot depth for 30 minutes. That's a pretty long time. So if you drop this thing in a puddle while you're out hunting, it'll be all right. If you're out in the rain, it'll be all right forever. We're gonna test out that call function now. In order for the call function to work, both radios have to be on the same channel with the same privacy tones, CTCSS or DCS. Let's take a look. So here we are with both radios. The radio on the left is on channel 1 with privacy tone 1, and the other one is on channel 1 with privacy tone 1, and that's the lookup tone. So I take this radio and we'll step back a bit. And now you can hear the other radio making that ringing noise. So there you go. It is not really an alarm, an alert. It is a, a ringtone, like you're trying to ring somebody to get their attention. Otherwise, it's just going to buzz when you transmit for the first time, or you're going to hear somebody talking when they are talking. Think of it like calling them on the phone, not like, help, I'm in an emergency, 911, come after me, help me, save me kind of thing. And then having the privacy tone set means that only people that are on that same privacy tone are going to be able to hear your call. This is what the radio sounds like at 5 watts from across the parking lot. We're currently set at medium volume. This is WRNY 966, testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, that wraps that up. Overall, great value for what you get. They are rugged radios, they are waterproof, and they are good to go for getting you and your crew out and communicating back and forth on the move. If you would like some more information on these radios, there is a link in the description down below for that. That's all I have to say about that. There is a video right over here I think you'll enjoy next. Thanks for being awesome. I'll see you over there.